A show created by the fans, for the fans. We are your home for Ohio State football coverage all year long. The Scarlet and Gray Podcast, a Network 216 production. Live weekdays on the Network 216 YouTube channel. Send us all your questions and comments on Twitter at @VSG_podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Tyler Johnson, Jordan Dalton, and Nick Leisure.
Good morning, Buckeye Nation, and welcome to your Ohio State versus Michigan State game day preview. I am Tyler Johnson, joined by Jordan Dalton. Nick Leisure is living it up in Epcot right now, so he will not be joining us today. But we are here for your Ohio State game day preview. Before we get into it, as always, guys, drop a quick like on the video. Subscribe if you're brand new to Network 216, as we are trying to reach 3,000 subscribers before the end of the year. And as a reminder, Scarlet and Gray Podcast and Network 216 is proud to be a partner of Homage Athletic Apparel. They're going to have some awesome Black Friday sales coming up here in a couple weeks. Already know of a couple of them. Unfortunately, can't announce those until they're available, but I'm telling you, you guys want to make sure you start looking right now, homage.com. Save some items into your cart and make sure you buy them on Black Friday. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. This weekend here. Ohio State is taking on Michigan State. JD, they're doing it at home for a night game, which is kind of interesting that Michigan State, of all teams, is a night game. But the Buckeyes are going to be debuting in all gray uniform. So first off, what are your thoughts on the uniform? I don't have a picture of it, unfortunately, but I know fans have seen it. What are your thoughts on it, on that uniform combination?
It's one of those they how they have those alternate jerseys that like Fanatics will drop every couple of years, and everybody buys them, and you're like, oh, we're never gonna wear those ugly jerseys. They actually look pretty good with the full getup and the silver pants, the gray. And then the helmets are, the silver helmets. So I think they look pretty sharp. I think we were talking about it. It's like, I'm glad we're only wearing them once, but it's a good little change up for a night game. The players get the swag out a little bit. So not my favorite, but it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. And this is a game that Ohio State is favored to win. The spread for this game is 31.5. We know Michigan State is having a down year. There's a lot of drama going on at Michigan State, so it's not really surprising that they're having the year that they are. They are 3-6. They're 6th in the Big Ten right now, the Big Ten East. Mel Tucker was fired from Michigan State. We're not going to go into that, but it's been a tough year for the Spartans. Their starting quarterback Noah Kim didn't play well. Also, then suffered an injury. Caitlin Hauser is now taking over at quarterback. And they've also had 3 quarterbacks play this year. Sam Levitt has also played for them. But overall, man, I mean, Michigan State's down. And the biggest question really going in for them, not necessarily if they're going to win this game, but who's going to be their next head coach? Because right now, that's all they really care about. So who's going to be the next head coach? But what are your thoughts on Michigan State? It's basically for them, it's the run game or nothing.
Yeah, I think this is a game where, like, Rutgers was tough. Rutgers 6-3 after we beat them last week. Like, a lot of people were like, "Oh, same old Rutgers," but we saw last week that they were a pretty tough team. They had a really close game with Michigan earlier in the year, or Michigan State earlier in the year. I imagine Michigan State's not going to lay down. They never do. But this is a game where you see the spread 31.5. There should be a game that Ohio State establishes some dominance for once. I think we haven't really had a blowout game this year. So I think like you said, Michigan State's having a down year. Just so many obstacles to overcome as a team, and they just haven't been able to put it together this year. But I think this is a game Ohio State shouldn't take easy. I don't think they should take any games easy here on out. But I don't think they're going to have any trouble winning this football game.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't either. Like I said, begins and ends in the run game with Nathan Carter at running back. He has 659 yards rushing, only averaging 4.2 yards a carry. So, I mean, he's at 156 carries and 4 touchdowns. So, I mean, he really leads the way. They got Caitlin Hauser at quarterback, the freshman, who he will be their starting quarterback. Not done anything spectacular in the start so far this year. 674 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. But then on the defensive side of the ball, JD, it's actually really interesting. Michigan State, they're obviously not great, but they've gotten a decent amount of interceptions this year. Angelo Gross, Jaden Mangham has 4 interceptions this year. So I think the big thing in this game for Ohio State, you want to see the offense really take a step forward. I want to see Kyle McCord not turn the ball over this week. I think that should be a big point of emphasis. So what expectations do you have for the offense on Saturday?
Expectations, I'm not expecting them to light it up, but we kind of need them to. We need to see it. We need to see the offense get in a rhythm. I think Rutgers this past week, when we started the game really well, and we kind of fell apart with special teams and turnovers at the end of the second half. I think the second half of, or at the end of the first half, but the second half of the game, the offense seemed to put it together, just getting the ball to Travion, and they got the ball to Marvin down in the red zone a couple times. So I would like to see them string together like 3 or 4 touchdown drives. Like we haven't really seen a whole lot of consecutive touchdown drives from this offense. It's I don't know, man. Like we punt the ball a lot. So I would like to see us put it in the end zone, especially once we get it down into the red zone. So I think that would be my what I want the offense to do this week.
Yeah, for me, just don't turn the ball over. Like, and it's funny as I say that with the Browns too all the time, but I need Kyle McCord to not turn it over. This is a game like you're probably going to end up winning by a large margin, but don't even give them opportunities. Don't give them opportunities in this game to do anything on a short field. Just take care of the ball. That's the biggest thing I really need to see from him as we're getting closer to the end of the season. Just don't turn it over. Like, that would be a huge step forward. So the offense doesn't turn it over. I expect Travion Henderson to have a great game. Marvin Harrison Jr. to play really well, of course. Hopefully we get Cade Stover back. We're not sure on his stats. We won't know until probably closer to kickoff. Same with Denzel Burke. Not sure on him. Tommy Eichenberg, some of the other guys. But Latham Ransom, I don't believe we're going to see. We haven't gotten confirmation yet on that. But it sounds like it was leaning towards he wasn't going to be available this week again as well. As far as like keys to the game overall, what do you think Ohio State has to do to make sure that Michigan State does not have even a glimpse of hope in this game?
Just do what they've been doing all year, holding opponents under 17 points a game. The best way to win a football game is not let the other team score. So the defense just needs to keep playing the way they've been playing, and I think we'll come away with a W. I think it's more so just taking that next step on offense and using that to catapult you to next week. So defense, just do your thing, and I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, man. I really agree with pretty much all of that, so there's nothing to add. All right, moment of truth. We know what our predictions are going to be pretty much, but the big question is, do the Buckeyes cover 31.5?
It's such a big spread. I would never take that. Like, there's so much that can go wrong when you take a 31.5 point spread. I think my score prediction, 42-10, keeps us under that 17 points allowed, and the offense scores a couple touchdowns, and we come away with the dub.
Love it, man. Mine's pretty similar. I have them at 45 to 17. Michigan State's going to get garbage points. I think Kyle McCord's going to look pretty good on Saturday. Just have a feeling. Today I could be completely wrong. I think he's going to look pretty good tonight. He's going to take – I hope he takes that step forward that I need to see. And not turn the ball over would go far in doing that. But
I will say before we get off, I think we're going to learn a lot about Michigan today. A little bit off topic, but with their game against Penn State, this is the biggest game they've played all year. They haven't really played anybody. I think. Well, and it's not. I'm not trying to bash them, but they haven't played. They played one team with a winning record this year, coming into this game against Penn State, and that was Rutgers.
Yeah.
So they haven't really played anybody, and I think we're going to learn a lot. I think we're going to learn a lot about our team as well, just seeing how we played against Penn State and then being able to kind of comp how Michigan plays Penn State. So I am way more excited for that game than I am for the Ohio State Michigan State game, but I will be watching both intently.
Hey, no, yeah, that's a really good point, and I can't wait for that game. It's going to be should be a good one, of course, in Happy Valley. As a reminder, guys, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're brand new to Network 216, as we're trying to reach 3,000 subscribers before hopefully the end of the year. Even though we're getting close to that, we believe we can reach that goal. Also, as a reminder, members of Network 216 will be back at 11 o'clock tomorrow for the Browns versus Ravens pregame show on the Network 216 YouTube channel. So
another banger, big one.
It's another big game, guys, but we wanted to remind you because we do those for every Browns game. We normally have a good crowd for those. So if you know any Browns fans or if you're a Browns fan, be sure to tune into that. Thank you guys for tuning in episode 38 of the Scarlet and Gray podcast. We will talk to you guys all again next week. And as always, go Buckeyes.